welcome everyone to A Cosmic Cuppa with Jude, with our cuppas at the ready, guys. I hope you've all got yours with whatever tipple you require or fancy. Tonight, what I thought we'd do is an interactive evening. So in reality, you're all my guests, and we are collaboratively going to talk about Ascension. So I thought that might be a lovely thing to do this evening. So I'd like to start, if I may, with a poem. Awakening. Breaking free from my past, shedding ego's mask, awaken to the light, embracing what's right. No longer lost in despair, rising beyond compare. Each step a dance of grace, finding my destined place. Letting go of fear's hold, transforming like gold. Mind in bloom, heart aglow, like a river's flow. In embracing the unknown, seeds of wisdom sown. A universe within, a journey to begin. So that's the beginning of a poem. It's quite a long one, but I thought that might be nice to start off with, talking about what is Ascension. So also I have here Mike Quincy's Higher Self message on March the 29th. Matters upon earth are quickly moving to a conclusion, but it would appear that it will be a forced situation and not by choice. And that is understandable in view of the events that are taking place. So much karma is being worked out, and many souls on earth at this time are creating opportunities that will advance matters for a much better outcome. There is always hope, regardless of the attempts of the dark ones to keep people down and deny them their rightful place in the light. The battle is indeed between the dark and the light, whatever shape or form it takes. At present, the earth is in turmoil, and it is surely difficult to see which direction it is going in. But there is always light at the end of the tunnel, and it will grow stronger as the dark ones are prevented from succeeding with their plan to imprison the people of earth. Those of you who are working for the light are to be commended in your determination to ensure that the dark ones will not succeed in their attempts to embroil the whole earth in a pointless war that has already resulted in the death of so many souls. When will man ever learn that violence gets you nowhere at all and only sets back your evolution by many years? However, since the end of the age gets closer and closer, it must be apparent that it will bring about major changes that will leave the old behind, that has no place in the higher vibrations. You have been working towards the new age for a long time and given every chance to rise up, and even now you could do so. Clearly, all souls upon the earth at this time are benefiting from their experiences in spite of the problems caused by the dark ones. It must seem very difficult to make sense of what is taking place, but be assured that there is a plan that will lead to a victory for the light. It was foreseen and anticipated eons of time ago, and it will give much joy and happiness to those who will have earned their victory. So I thought that was quite uplifting. We know we're still in a spiritual war, and we're having all sorts of symptoms as well along the way. So does anyone want to start out with a statement, a query, a question, or something they would like to add to what has been said, or what they would like to say? Karen, have you got something you'd like to add?
Yeah, it's exciting times, really, really exciting times. So I did a little Google definition on ascension. What is ascension or spiritual ascension? And it came up with it is spiritual ascension is a phenomenon in which you become more conscious of your sense of being and your connection with the world around you. If you're waking, you probably won't succumb to lower vibrational egocentric activities, but will instead operate from a higher vibrational frequency. I thought for Google that actually wasn't too bad. But yeah, interesting times. What does ascension mean? Wow, it's really it's about a well, we've all sort of chosen, I believe we've chosen to be here at this time to witness this, to experience this, something we have possibly been through other times in the past. Maybe we've achieved it, maybe we haven't. For Earth this time, for the planet, I'm certainly hoping it will be, well, it will be achieved this time, definitely will be. But going through, I mean, it's going through from that 3D where we have been, and I don't actually believe we are. And there may be some people in 3D, but I don't think we really are now. We're really from through into the fourth now, and then hopefully not too long into the fifth. So it's about the planet, the people, animals, all life rising, ascending, not just us. But the really important thing is this time we can take our body with us. We don't have to die to get there. So yeah, there's some real key big things happening. It's about bringing on the high frequency, the light frequency coming from our sun. We need to it needs to come through us and change our body type from the carbon-based 3D body through to the crystalline body. So the light needs to come through into our cells in order to do that. And this is where we can get some of those funny ascension illness things and things from, which we'll probably talk about a bit later. It's linked to the solar flares and things. At those high intense times, we've got more energy coming through. Yeah, there's lots of things that can influence it. But yeah, incredible times. So it's kind of a time of just taking in as much light as we can and rising up and letting go of the old, shed what we don't need anymore, and sort of, yeah, see where we come with it. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
It's
Beautifully put. You've put a lot in there very succinctly. Boy, has my daughter grown. Oh my goodness. She's coming into the fore. Absolutely. Well said, Karen. One of the things I love about cycles, everything seems to move in a cycle. Part of my email address is Silver Spiral. I love spirals because it's that cycling around, but each time you come back, hopefully you go up a notch and up a notch. You can choose to go down a notch too, if you so choose. But the endless cycles of time and knowing about the great year, the 25,000 year cycle with the precession of the equinoxes, having 12 signs, and each sign is there for 1,800 years. So we have 13 years of a devolving cycle and 13 years of an uplifting cycle. And if you look at the pendulum, it's like we've come down as far as we can into the Kali Yuga, the age of destruction, that we're just coming out of now, to swing back up into the age of enlightenment. So we've come in at the worst of times and the best of times, in my opinion. And Karen's quite right. I've also understood that this is the first time we will ascend if we choose with a body, whereas other times we had to die to go through that process, or transmigration, transfiguration, where the body was left behind. You could have the rainbow body experience for the enlightened masters, but they did not take their body with them. So they're very, very exciting times. I don't know how this is all going to play out. I don't know when, but I know it's happening at some stage. Has anyone else got anything they would like to add? Lee, have you got something you'd like to say?
Yeah, well, I think the whole ascension process is, pretty much what we talk about with the law of one. The whole process from the spark right through as we progress through the different densities. I think the whole process is about that transformation of ascension. It's pretty amazing process that we go through, and I think it's vastly different in each density, that whole process of ascension. But yeah, it's exciting. The more that we learn about it, the more we know about it, the more exciting it gets. I think, yeah, it's a massive transformation happening, and it brings up lots of questions about different cultures and people like the Anasazi. Did they actually ascend? And I think there were a number of other civilizations that just vanished. And some of the Anasazi caves, all their plates are still, all their food was still sitting there, like they were sitting down to eat and then they were gone. Yeah. So it brings up a lot of questions. I think one of the questions it's interesting is, in our ascension journey, how do we balance between our individual growth and the service to others?
That's a really good question, Lee. And I think, although it's a collective journey, it's also an individual one, isn't it?
Sure is.
We've got the earth souls. We've got souls that have done many rounds of existence, the old souls. We've got star seeds. We've got wanderers. We've got so many different types of souls here on the planet now, all on their own journey. So some have lived nowhere else but on Earth. Some have lived physically on other planets or other star systems. And then you get the old souls that have really done a lot of lives, a lot of learning, a lot of maturation, soul maturation, that have decided to come back here to be the light that they are, to make a difference. And I would say a lot, if not all of us in 5D are probably in that group. They've come here to be the light, hold the light, and service to others. And collectively, we make a difference. Individually, we make a difference, we hope, within that process of our own growing, and hopefully helping others do the same. So it's very, very interesting. I've got here 5D Ascension Symptoms. 31 clear signs you are ascending. We may not go into all of them. Have you ever found, we might be here all night, have you ever found your mind awakening and opening to the reality that there is more to life than you can perceive? If this is true, then you may be undergoing 5D Ascension symptoms. If you are a light worker or star seed, this is more likely to happen, as you incarnated here to guide humanity through the 5D shift. The feeling of spiritual ascension might cause you to feel worry, confusion, or dread. If that is the case for you, don't be afraid. It's all part of the vibrational shift we're going through now. What are some of the symptoms? The physical symptoms can include starting to have body aches. You may have sore joints. You may start to experience fatigue. You may start to have frequent headaches. I don't know why I'm laughing. It's not really funny, is it? You may notice toothache. You start to experience visual changes, tummy issues, skin changes. You can get clumsy. You may have sudden hot flashes or flu-like symptoms. Emotional symptoms can include disorientation, memory loss, identity crisis, irritability, mood swings. I've been having a bit of that lately, and I'm usually very calm, cool, and collected. Yesterday, I was right off key. I was just so in a fug, let's put it that way. I couldn't quite figure out. I'd probably been that way for 2 or 3 days. Today, I've come back to my equilibrium, I'm pleased to say. I'm normally very calm and centered, so that was interesting for me. Anxiety, hyperactivity, a change of life view, more creativity, and drawn to nature. Some of the spiritual symptoms. You may feel intense energy through your body, and we may have experienced some of that with some of the practices we've been doing as well. You may experience hallucinations or have out-of-body experiences. You understand synchronization, like seeing 1111 or 222 or 333 when you're looking at a digital clock or the reg over the car in front of you. You may start to have premonitions or get electrical zaps off either people or cars, etc. You may become more introspective. You may have more unity consciousness, heightened sensitivity, energy bursts, disconnecting from reality. So these are some of the symptoms we can have. Would anyone like to share any symptoms they have had and how they have reacted with that or moved through that?
We should have done them one by one and put our hands up. We could have. Who's got this? Who's got that? I think my hand would have been doing this. Yeah, I can say I've probably had a couple of them. Yeah, the sleepiness and then bursts of energy, for sure. And then you kind of wonder, where has all that energy gone? You're all of a sudden very deflated and you can't do anything. It floors you, completely floors you. And you're just not doing anything that involves the brain today. We'll just do simple things like eating and drinking. We won't sign any forms or fill out anything on the computer. Yeah, I've had a couple of those symptoms. Yeah, and I did for it was a while back. I can't remember which eye it was, but one of my eyes, the vision, it would be like not like a jagged edge, but there would be a whole section out of my eyesight that it would be opaque and silvery and sparkly, and it would do that for hours on end and then just disappear. and then come back. It done it for months and months, and it just all of a sudden went away, and it hasn't come back.
Mm,
It's
that's
disappeared.
interesting.
Yeah, just the one eye. I can't remember which one it was, but just the one. It would. I couldn't see the whole object. I would know what the object was if I was looking at a tree or whatever, but I couldn't see the whole object. It had silver and sparkles all around it, or in front of it, not around it, in front of it. Yeah, I've had,
Fascinating.
yeah. It wasn't at the time. It was quite worrying.
I bet it would have been too.
Yeah,
I had
yeah.
a bit of a worrying time back in the 90s when I was questioning, did the angelics want to work with me in my practice? It was a question I'd put up. And within my peripheral vision in my right eye, I got a heart. So I could see it on the inside of my eye. When like if I look at a wall, you could see it there. Or occasionally, you still had full focus on long vision. And it was the shape of a heart.
Yeah.
And I instinctively knew it wasn't a doctoring issue.
Mm.
And that must have stayed probably about 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
And then it went. And that was like the angelic saying, yes, we want to work with you. It was like they had to show me.
Yeah. It's I had it for, it was on and off. It would come and go for months. And I did go to the optometrist, and there was nothing there. There was nothing
Isn't that
there.
interesting?
Um,
Yeah. So maybe that's opening up to 4D, 5D vision, do you think? What was your feeling around it?
I don't know. I was just a bit confused. I thought it was maybe something to do with the sun or the light, or I was out in the garden working. It only ever happened when I was outside, when light was coming in. Never inside. I could be outside and come inside and it would still be there, but it never started inside the house. It only ever started outside the house. And I had at the same time, a lot of dizzy spells as well, feeling really, really dizzy. Yeah, that was interesting.
Very.
Interesting.
Quite disconcerting with dizziness, isn't it?
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, it
You hope
was.
you're not driving a car at that time.
Well, funnily enough, I never got it when I was driving a
Goodness
car.
for
It was
that.
only when I was outside. Again, everything was when it was outside.
Wow.
Yeah.
For dizziness, it's suggested as an ascension symptom, it's suggested to ground yourself, so bare feet on the ground.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't do that. I didn't think at the time. I was too busy wobbling about with silver sparkles going.
Does anyone else have anything they'd like to share? Lou.
Hi, Jude and everyone else. It will be interesting if we could get that list so we can give the list a deep thinking on that. But from what you just mentioned, I have had many of these symptoms. I'm glad that we're sharing because I thought that perhaps I'm not doing too well. Certainly for me, it's been sometimes dizziness, disorientation, forgetness, perhaps. The twinkling in the ears, that's very common.
Can you
And
speak up a little bit, please, Lou? It's a wee bit scratchy.
yeah, okay. Is it that
Oh,
any better?
that's wonderful. Thank you.
Okay. All right. I was covering the micro with my hand.
Ah,
The most one is being tired often.
can you speak
Very.
up a wee bit more, Lou? I'm sorry, we still can't quite hear you.
How is that?
No.
Okay.
No, your
Now,
microphone.
and now?
Yes, that's better.
That's better. Okay. I
Thank
don't
you.
know what's going on.
That's better when you sit
Okay.
back.
Okay. The most powerful one is being the tiredness and this awful desire of sleeping. I just literally sleep standing on my feet. My eyes just want to close down, and I just sleep. And I do not want to do anything else but just to be with me. To the point that for a couple of days now, I had a meditation, and in my meditation, I just usually fall asleep at the end. But this time, it was such a deep sleep that oftentimes I rest my hands in the yoga position like this. I like to do that on my lap. And this time, I was in this position extremely very well seated, just 90 degrees, which is not usual for me. I rather like to lay my back on the couch, and I remained like frozen, literally frozen. And it was, I knew I was there, but I couldn't move. I was frozen. So these things keep on happening, and I enjoy being with me. I just don't have any desire to mingle with other people or all the things, perhaps. Nature, yes, but nature at the moment is for me very sad, as we're just starting spring. However, it's cloudy, it's miserable, it's uh, was it not humid? And so it's April, and April it's a month where the weather has not decided yet which direction to go. So to go out into nature, into the woods, forest, or the forest, or the park, or whatsoever, is not really nice. Trees are naked, flowers are not popping out, and so on. So I just want to be home. And the joints, I also feel the joints as well. And I just don't know. I try, the way I take it is I try just to ignore all these things in a way that whatever discomfort that may cause me, I just let it pass through. I ignore everything. But yeah, I have had many of these things, many, other things as well. But yeah, it's very true. So I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Thank you, Lou. You were breaking up a little. We could hear some of what you were saying.
Okay.
You were asking about a download of the information I've got. What I did do for anyone that's interested, I went on to https://thespiritnomad.com. Thespiritnomad.com, 5D Ascension Symptoms, 31 clear signs you are ascending. Now, I've got 31 pages, which I didn't want to read out everything to you because you're going to get totally bored and start yawning. So I've listed the highlights, but those were the number of pages I printed off. And it's really, really interesting. So I've also got some tips and adjustments to help, but before that, I'll just see what other people have got to say. So Karen, did you have something you'd like to add there?
Yeah, I hear you, Lou. I've sort of been through most of that stuff too, all the usual stuff, headaches, fuzzy head. Spiritual flu's an interesting one. Usually lasts something like 24 to 48 hours. Everyone thinks, oh my God, have I got that C word? But no, it's not. Dizziness, ears ringing. God, they've been ringing for years. so much, blurry eyes, sore muscles, body gets very, very hot's another one. Loss of memory. I don't know if that's because I'm not working or Ascension. I would like to say Ascension. Inability to sleep. It takes me ages to get to sleep these days. Oh, there were some interesting ones. I've got a different list to you, Mum. So I'll say some of the interesting ones. One for me was career dissatisfaction. Now that's completely appropriate because I was mandated out and I'm totally dissatisfied and will never go back to it. Another good, I don't know why they call it ascension illness. This is a positive thing. A strong desire to find your purpose. It's got to be good. Lethargy, greater empathy and compassion. Some people go through change of diet, shifting friendships, rifts within families. Some people have increased telepathy and psychic powers. I'm still working on that, waiting. A thirst for ancient and esoteric knowledge. Well, I think most of us probably have had that for a long time anyway. Because some people are having conscious out-of-body experiences. Here's one I get a lot, tears flowing, overly emotional, and no particular reason why. Vivid dreams, being hugely creative. Now, this is a funny one. I think this one Glenn's got at the moment. Your sinus is running and increased sneezing. Now, that's apparently, it can be related to your third eye opening.
Wow.
It's got to clear all the gunk out. And another really interesting one is upper back pain or itching between the shoulder blades. And that is apparently where your wings of light are located. So it can indicate your etheric wings will open up. I'm thinking, oh yes, there's a good itch down there. There's lots and lots of them. Mum, I don't know if you realised or not, but I did send I don't know if Lee's here, but I actually sent through a little video that had a lot of symptoms on it, and it was sort of presented in quite a nice way. So it's about a 9-minute video. If anyone's interested, that can go up.
Yeah. Do you want to watch that?
Maybe if we listen to what Cherry has got to first, and then if that's all right, Lee, we can pop it up after Cherry's statements.
Yes.
Cool.
Hi, Cherry.
Hello. Well, I'm sort of getting back a wee bit when you were saying about, people being starseeds and or wanderers. I can remember many, many years ago, probably 30 or 40 years ago, someone saying to me, you didn't need to be here, you elected to come here. You didn't have to, I'd done my life's journey or whatever I'd qualified for. Hopefully to be an angel. But and you didn't, and of course that for years and years I've pondered over what on earth did this mean? But of course it's only now in recent times that it's meant anything.
Interesting, isn't it? And you probably find that you did put your hand up for this mission.
Yes.
And say, like Mission Impossible, if you choose to accept it, which I love. I used to love the original Mission Impossible. It was fabulous. And we are working out the impossible mission to make it possible for Ascension, not only for us, but for all those on and around the planet. So I think that's fantastic. I do think there are Earth angels, but I also feel there is a strain of humanoid that is totally angelic and does not become human. But I think a lot of people that are humans can be very angelic in their understanding. But
I don't think I'm quite that far.
You never know, Cherry. Did I see a little wing flapping back there?
But even my children, particularly my daughter, she used to say that she'd pick me to be her mother. Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. How lovely.
Now I'm just wondering, this is sort of getting a wee bit off it. The astrology with the 8th of April, all the astrologers are saying that, like the 8th is going to be an ending and the 9th is going to start a new wave of bigger and better things in a very dramatic way.
Yes.
Mm.
So for us, the 8th is the 9th because we're in New Zealand, unless it was a New Zealand reading, Cherry. But I think it's a huge shift for humanity. We've not had an eclipse this big for 5,000 years where all the planets have lined up, with about 5, I think, of the planets are all in
Yes,
alignment as well, aren't they?
Mm. Plus it's
Oh, is
supposed to
it
have
7, Karen? 7 planets in alignment. Interesting that in the States, the eclipse comes over 7 cities called Nineveh. There are so many biblical names where the sun's progress is during that eclipse, and it crosses from a previous eclipse right in the middle of the States. I think there was also a Nineveh in Canada that it starts out on the northeast as well. So in a way, it's very biblical with what's happening. And yes, I think there will be huge changes. Absolutely. And this is a time where I think it would be pertinent to, well, for me, I'll tell you what I'm doing. For us, it's 6:15 in the morning on the 9th. And I'm going to be awake and I'm going to be humming to C, the note of C, C4, for 4.5 minutes, that the length of time it takes for the full eclipse. And then they say for the next 40 days to focus on that which you want to bring in. Now, 40 days is fascinating because you hear about Jesus in the Bible going out for 40 days and 40 nights into the wilderness. You hear about Noah on the ark being away at sea for 40 days and 40 nights before he found land. I think it's very parable-illic, if that's a word, all done in parables. But there's something about 40 days and 40 nights that's quite pertinent to formulating that which we want. So I would suggest, if you really want to make a big impact, not only for yourselves, but for the collective, you may choose to do something particularly around that time on our 9th from 6:15 in the morning. Or you can timeline it to that time. Because remember, we can work out of space and time as well. So if you really need to get your sleep or you have to be up early for something, you can meditate and timeline to that time so that it becomes more powerful in that moment. So thank you for bringing that up, Cherry. Yeah, I think there could be huge things happening. We also know that the other side are going to do their utmost for us not to get where we want to go. So even more pertinent that we all collectively do our best to make it happen.
Can I just add a wee thing to that?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Is that I have heard, I don't know how true it is, but I have heard that at the time of the full solar eclipse, now I don't know, I keep hearing the word bandied around totality. It's on all the media, it's everywhere in the mainstream. They keep calling it totality, meaning the totality of the eclipse. I don't know why they're using that word. But anyway, at the totality of the eclipse, say at 6:15, that because our sun is blocked at that time, apparently the energy from the grand central sun can actually come through. So that's the time that we should be focused and we can use that energy and to help with our ascension, to help with the world's ascension, and to think of all those positive things, the world that we want to live in. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. It's very pertinent because it's not just our solar system. It's far more than just our solar system, isn't it?
The whole universe.
Yeah, it's in fact, I wouldn't be surprised if it was multiverses.
Yes.
I don't know for sure, but I would not be surprised. This is a huge, what they call the shift of the ages. It's been prophesied for generations. So it's scary and exciting all at once.
Mm.
Lou, can we have a wee
Yeah.
chat to you, and then we'll watch this
Yeah.
video that we've got.
Yeah, just real quick on the same subject. Is the I've heard that we do not necessarily need to be connected through a platform with another group. We can do it alone ourselves. Actually, that will be better because it seems like these Zoom meetings when at certain times and it's well known, they could be tapped in by the DES. So that's what I understand. So we don't need to do that. Only the time, the intention, and what you just explained it at this one day. Yeah, correct.
I think we can do it ourselves, and we are each of us on our own individual path. And those are wide words, Lou. I think collectively we make even more of a difference, even by this gathering here tonight. Collectively, I'm just getting a jolt. Excuse me, I get jolts from spirit when it's an affirmation. That collectively we can make a huge difference. But ultimately, we are individuals on our own individual journey. So yes, Lou, we can do it on our own. And it's really interesting, you know, because I've always been the individual wanderer. I've been the individual therapist, the individual light bearer, doing my own thing. But probably over the last 20 years, I've been pulled into roles where I'm kind of getting people together and doing all sorts of things collectively. And it's just like with Lee, getting all of this together for me, and with the way my destiny has been rolling out with 5D, which has been miraculous. Who would have thought I'd be doing what I'm doing now? And it was just organic. It just sort of happened. So we're all doing our bit in whatever way we can, whether it is as a lone worker or whether it's a collective. I'm very careful who I connect with in a collective, as we all know. It's good to be discerning. But all roads lead home at the end of the day, I guess.
Lou, over here
So-
at 6:15 in the morning, I'm going to be doing it by myself because I'm still going to be in bed. But doing it myself, it'll still be tapping into the collective consciousness. So we are all still working together at some level anyway.
Karen, are you able to bring up that video clip, please?
Lee has it. So thank you.
Lee, are you able to bring up that video clip?
Yes, I'll do
Thank
that
you
now.
so much.
Thanks, Lee.
Appreciate it. So this is something Karen's put together. So thank you, Karen.
Can you see that with the welcome on it?
Yes, yes, we can. Thank you.
In the quiet spaces between our thoughts, amidst the chaotic whirl of our daily lives, lies a whispered truth, a gentle beckoning towards a realm beyond the tangible. Welcome to Soul Compass, your guide through the unseen, a lantern in the midst of the mundane, illuminating the path to a higher consciousness. As we stand at the threshold of a profound transformation, our planet and its inhabitants are awakening to a new dawn, an evolution not just of the mind, but of the spirit. This is not merely a journey through the world as we know it, but a voyage into the depths of our very being, where the fabric of reality weaves in dimensions unseen, and the essence of our existence transcends the material. We are on the cusp of a dimensional shift, a leap into the fifth consciousness, where the veils of linear time and physical space begin to thin, revealing the luminous truth of our interconnectedness. This transformation is an invitation, a call to unfurl the wings of our spiritual essence and soar into the realms of infinite possibilities. Here, in this space of heightened awareness, the mundane gives way to the mystical, intuition becomes our guiding star, and the heart's silent knowing echoes with the clarity of a bell. Join us on this journey with Soul Compass, as we navigate the unseen currents of this transformation, exploring the strange symptoms, the bewildering experiences, and the profound awakenings that herald our arrival into a new dimension of being. 1. Change in perception of time. In the dance of the cosmos, time ceases to march in a straight line, instead flowing like a river that meanders through the landscapes of our lives. Those journeying into higher consciousness often find themselves stepping out of time's rigid structure, experiencing moments that stretch into eternity and days that flicker by in an instant. It's as if the soul, recognizing its timeless nature, begins to synchronize with the universe's natural rhythm, transcending the artificial boundaries set by clocks and calendars. 2. Reliance on vibrational information. As we ascend, our antennae for the unseen world become more refined, tuning into frequencies that were once mere static. Intuition, once a whisper, becomes a guiding voice, leading us through decisions with a clarity that transcends logical reasoning. Individuals report receiving messages in dreams, sudden insights, or a knowingness that defies explanation. This shift signifies a move from processing the world through the five senses to a multidimensional awareness, where information comes from the energy and vibrations around and within us. 3. Resolution of past problems. Imagine carrying a backpack filled with stones, each representing a past grievance, regret, or sorrow. Transitioning into higher dimensional consciousness is akin to the backpack dissolving, liberating us from burdens we've carried for so long. This phenomenon occurs not through active effort but as a natural byproduct of our vibrational elevation, allowing us to view life's challenges with a new lens of understanding and forgiveness. 4. Feeling of natural lightness. Participants often speak of a newfound lightness, a sensation as if gravity's pull has softened. This is not just a metaphorical lifting of emotional weight but can manifest physically. People describe enhanced vitality, a spring in their step, and a marked improvement in their physical well-being. It's as though the body is harmonizing with the lighter frequencies of higher dimensions, shedding the heaviness of denser energies. 5. Shift in relationships. As we evolve, so do our connections. Relationships based on superficial ties or mutual convenience begin to fade, making room for bonds that resonate with our soul's frequency. These relationships are characterized by a profound sense of understanding, empathy, and shared values. They are the fellow travelers on our spiritual journey, offering support, reflection, and companionship in a world that can sometimes feel alien. 6. Increased compassion. A heart opening to the fifth dimension experiences the world differently. Acts of kindness and compassion become not just actions but a state of being. This isn't limited to humans but extends to all forms of life, recognizing the divine spark within every creature in creation. Stories abound of people who, overnight, become unable to harm another living being, adopting lifestyles and careers that reflect their commitment to nurturing life in all its forms. 7. Enhanced connection with animals and nature. Imagine walking through a forest and feeling the life force of every tree, the joy of the birds singing, and an intuitive understanding of the natural world that speaks a language beyond words. Such experiences become common, indicating a reintegration into the web of life from which modern humanity has often felt separate. Pets and even wild animals seem to recognize this shift, responding with an affinity and understanding that transcends the boundaries between species. 8. Realization of thought power. The idea that thoughts create reality transitions from a philosophical concept to a tangible experience. Manifestation becomes quicker and more evident, teaching us the responsibility that comes with this creative power. This realization encourages a mindful curation of thoughts and intentions, transforming life into a conscious act of creation. 9. Change in sensory perception. Our sensory world expands beyond the 5 known senses, opening us to perceive energies, auras, and perhaps even the music of the spheres. This long sensory perception unveils the hidden layers of reality, allowing us to see the luminous threads that connect all beings, and to hear the silent whispers of the earth and stars. 10. Changes in the body's energy field. Our energy field, or aura, becomes more attuned to the energies around us, acting both as a receiver and transmitter of cosmic vibrations. This attunement helps in synchronizing with the natural world, facilitating healing, and enhancing our influence on our environment in positive ways. People might find themselves drawn to energy healing practices, discovering an innate ability to channel healing energies. 11. Mystical experiences. Mystical experiences become signposts on our spiritual journey, moments of profound connection that defy explanation. Whether it's a sudden overwhelming sense of unity with the universe during a sunset, or a vision that imparts deep wisdom, these experiences remind us that there is far more to existence than the material world. 12. Awakening of pure consciousness. This awakening is a recognition that we are, at our core, pure consciousness experiencing itself in myriad forms. As this realization deepens, the illusion of separation dissolves, and we see ourselves in everything and everything in ourselves. It's a homecoming to our true nature, a state of being that radiates love and peace. 13. Increased synchronicity. Life begins to unfold with a synchronicity that feels like the universe is conspiring in our favor. Meaningful coincidences guide us, reassure us, and sometimes amaze us, serving as reminders that we are exactly where we need to be. The repetition of numbers, unexpected encounters, and fortuitous events are the universe's way of whispering, "All is well." These aspects of the transition to the fifth dimension offer glimpses into a reality where love, light, and unity redefine what it means to be human, inviting us into a state of being that promises a return to our most profound and luminous essence. In this dance of awakening to the fifth dimension, we find ourselves embarking on a journey that transcends time, space, and the very essence of our material existence. This is a call to embrace our infinite potential, to live in harmony with the vibrations of the universe, and to witness the unfolding of our deepest spiritual awakening. As we navigate this transformative path, let us hold the light of consciousness high, illuminating the way for ourselves and for each other. Together, we step into a new reality, a realm of deeper understanding, connection, and love. Welcome to the dawn of your new consciousness. Welcome to the journey home.
Thank you, Lee. Thank you, Karen. That was very well said, wasn't it?
Is there a link for that?
Yes.
Great, yeah.
Yes.
I'll pop that in the chat.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Does anyone have anything they would like to say about anything this evening?
Yeah, I have
Andy.
one.
Oh, after Lou.
Andy, go ahead. I'll do it after you.
All good. Yeah, there was wow, so many things in there. I'm going to need to watch that again. The standouts were the acts of kindness become a way of being. I thought, wow, that's so cool. And the other one was the along the lines of thoughts create reality. It goes from a philosophical theory into almost experiential proof of manifestation sort of analogy. And the increased synchronicity, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was fascinating, that video. That was brilliant. And look forward to going through that and lifting a few little bits out of it. Very, very good. While I'm on here having a wee bleat, I've got a book called Ascension. It's an analysis of the art of ascension as taught by the Ishayas, and it's by a fella called MSI. And there is a website for it. And yeah, wonderful book. I read it a few years ago, and I'm actually going to read it again. It was one of those books. I don't even know how to sum it up. It was just really eye-opening. It was brilliant. It's one of the-
Beautiful, Andy. Are you able to pop that in the chat for anyone that would be interested?
Sure.
Thank you very much, and thank you for your comments. Well said. Lou.
Yeah, thank you very much. That was great. One thing that keeps popping back on and on and on on this ascension process, it's clear that not everyone will go through it, in the sense that it depends on the vibration. So the question is, what would happen to those that do not vibrate at the required frequency in order not to discriminate? That makes me wonder. I've been thinking a lot about that. There's one thing that is for us to accept that there will be separation. I've been experiencing this separation process for a long time now, much before then the inoculation. And now I can see the reasons why. So the Creator has been preparing me for this moment, so that this separation, in my case, will not happen all at once. But I can see that very clearly. Now, regardless, that has nothing to do with being good or bad. We're all the same at that one level. But how will that occur? I just don't know. If we will just fall into a deep sleep, we will wake up and we will be there without these people, or if these people will start disappearing, or if there is a combined effect to that. I must say that lately I've seen many people that they're dying, and the one common denominator is the inoculation, and regardless of the ages. So young or older people, in the cases of old people, they always claim it, yeah, okay, good, it was an old person, and this person has these problems, and had XXX. But I think that that's not true. I think that somehow that will be accelerated, because I see it as this, I keep on having this thing, and from friends and people, and they keep on discussing that because they're afraid. But I know that they will not accept anything different, and they are all inoculated. So I have no idea if this is something to share. I have no idea how that will come to happen. How are we going to experience this moment?
Very, very good questions, Lou. I don't know exactly how it's going to happen. To my understanding, there are two lines of thought, one of which is those that are ready will ascend with their bodies, and those that aren't will complete another 26,000 years before you come back to the same energy frequency space that we're in now. The other line of thought is no one gets left behind, where everyone ascends. How it's going to play out, I don't know, but I do know that Creator Spirit allows everyone to go at their own level of understanding and capability. However that plays out, I say to myself, of all the lifetimes I have probably had, and of all the revolutions around this sun, and we know there are others, and on other dimensions, different ways of being, and I've only got to third dimension. That was my thinking for a very long time, until I realized we can go up the scale and then come back down again, or go up and choose where we go for certain missions, if you like. No one is ever left behind to their state of understanding No one's pushed beyond their limit, and nor they should be. So we may say, we want this person to come to where we are, but their frequency may not be ready for that. But everyone is looked after. How it totally plays out, some other people here may have some ideas to share with that. I don't know, but I do know everyone is in their perfect time and it is all in perfect order. I think it's also worthwhile mentioning that the new technologies that come on board, Lou, are going to heal a lot of people. And in that respect, this is going to be a new world in more than one way, because we're going to have heightened abilities, heightened awareness. Our physicality will be stronger. There are so many things for us to look forward to. How it all plays out, it's in the lap of the gods, as they say. Has anyone else got any ideas on what they think may be happening?
One addition to that, Jude, is the way I look at that is on what is explained on the law of one, and it's harvesting. And when you think about that, harvesting does not happen all at once. It needs to get to a point where everything's ripe to be collected. So I tend to think along those lines. How would it be in detail? I have no idea.
And when you look at the ascended masters, Lou, a lot of them, their bodies were never found because they transfigured. So that is one explanation as well, that a few have done it, but not as many as possibly could have been the case if we'd all been more enlightened earlier on. Am I enlightened? No. I'm still learning. I'm still doing my best each day. Hopefully my lights are on, but it's a learning curve. It's really a learning curve. And I love the learning, and I love being curious and childlike, because I think that's one of the beauties of being alive, is to discover and be curious about life and do the best we can each day for ourselves and for others. And that way you can't go wrong, and know that you're in the perfect place, the perfect time, for the perfect reasons, to either learn lessons, to have fun, or to help others. Karen.
Lou, I think this theory fits in quite well with the law of one, with the harvest thing, because there still had to be, for this round, or for each round where we've got to this point in time, that there had to, for us to actually make the grade and to go into 5D, is there has to be the tipping point, enough people in the collective who are of a high enough frequency for it to happen. Now, that doesn't mean everyone's going to get there, but there has to be enough people for the harvest sort of thing. So so there'll be, at this, my view is at this point in time, or when it's meant to happen, this time there should be enough people that a harvest will happen, as opposed to maybe the odd enlightened person going here and there throughout the ages. Another thing I was just wanting to say is, going back to the Ascension illness stuff, something that I read today that talks about these illness symptoms. It's with these light codes from the sun coming in, they infiltrate our cells, and they're putting in the good codes, and they're pushing out the old stuff which is not needed out of our cells. That is causing a detoxification in our body. Now, that detoxification, you can feel it in areas where there may have been trauma or some previous pain in a part of your body, or it could be from an illness or something like that. So we experience those as these Ascension illness symptoms, but it's really just a detoxification process that's happening. So nothing to worry about. It's all good. If you are worried about something, go see your doctor maybe if you're inclined to. But yeah, most of it is simply just our body going through its natural process. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Also, Lou, I was just looking up aches in the joints from my huge amount of pages I've got here. It is suggested that people do yoga to help loosen tight muscles so that ascension energy can flow freely through you. Or maybe stretching, doing stretches, gentle walks, moving the body could be something good to do. Some tips to help with some of the symptoms. It's advised to drink lots of water. This advice may seem basic, but hydration is very good for your body. As you go through physical changes, you must keep your system hydrated. Human beings are frequently dehydrated, so you need to drink as much water to keep your vital fluids topped up. I'm thinking of Lee here with her lack of water at the moment. Hope that gets sorted soon. A balanced diet. Ascension stretches your physical limits. You need to eat nourishing meals. When I say need, I don't like to tell people what they need to do, but this is what has been advised. So please bear in mind, I'm not telling anyone what they must do. A balanced diet. You need to eat nourishing meals to keep your body grounded. Food has healing abilities that help you through this strenuous process. Try to include high vibrational food like vegetables and fruits in your diet. To meditate, practice yoga, take guided meditations, repeat positive mantras, exercise your body. It's advisable to keep your body active and your mind centered. It will help maintain your awareness and stops you from drifting away from reality permanently. Read. Read and educate yourself when experiencing more severe ascension symptoms. Or as some people do, Google it. Learning from other people's experience, like we're doing now, will help you manage your process better. Because the old saying, the more heads together, the better. It's very true. And if you are having really, quite hard symptoms, seek out a professional in whichever way you see that professional as being in your best interest. What is 5D ascension? The Earth is at the moment going through an historic shift in vibration, ascending spiritually from the third dimensional through to the fifth. This is often called 5D Earth or New Earth. So there is an Earth ascension happening, but our bodies are also going through the same shift. Some people sooner than others. This is leading at times to ascension symptoms as our DNA is being upgraded. This is because as spiritual beings, we operate on vibration, frequency, and energy levels. So to experience life on a divine energy frequency, we need to go through a journey of spiritual awakening. And that leads me up to how many people have been dealing with their shadow self? How many people have been finishing off stuff that no longer serves them? I know I've been going through a huge detox in that respect. And it's like a lot of trauma is being brought up right now to be looked at to see what the original cause is that may go back either in this lifetime or previous lifetimes to clear and to heal. This is the time that we've decided to, a great many of us, deal with our karmic load, heal everything, body, mind, and spirit within us to be clearer to move forward. And a lot of people you'll find will be going through major stuff right now. The third dimension consciousness is the physical world in which we live and known to everyone. The fifth dimensional is the non-physical world, although when we are there, it will appear more physical than this does, I have to say. A level of consciousness that is only experienced by the spiritually awakened. So that's actually quite interesting. I still think when we move up, whatever body we are in that reality will appear as real to us as it does here. And it's all to do with molecular vibration and our frequency. We know everything around us is made up of molecules in motion. And we had earthquakes here earlier on in the decade, 2 decades ago, where a piece of straw could get stuck in a brick. How could that happen? Through frequency. When the brick vibrated at such a degree that the straw could partially go through until the brick slowed down its frequency of vibration. So everything is vibration and motion, frequency and motion. And we resonate to what is around us in our dimensional frequencies in varying degrees of our reality and hardness, if you like. And so when we move up the dimensional scale, those dimensions will be as real. In fact, they are more real than this one is, because this is a world of illusion. This is not a permanent world. This is a world that will last for so long on what they call the out-breath of God. And then when we have the in-breath of God, these worlds will dissolve and others will be started on another out-breath. And I forget how many years that is, that the Indian yogis know about the length of time in years. So that's an interesting thought too, but there are permanent worlds in the higher realms that do not disappear, dissipate.
Mum, is it worth bringing up the that levels of consciousness chart? Because we talk about the different dimensions. It might just
That would be wonderful. Yes, please.
Lee, are you able to bring that up if you're there, please?
She may be out of the room at the moment.
Yes, you might be. Okay.
The ninth dimensional Arcturian Council through Daniel Scranton. Ask yourselves these 2 questions and then ascend. Greetings, we are the Arcturian Council, April the 2nd, 2024. We are watching and waiting to see how humanity reacts to each and every occurrence there on planet Earth. We know that everything now is about inching you forward to your inevitable ascension. And we also know that there are many paths to raising one's consciousness. It doesn't have to happen through pain and suffering. But when a person isn't paying attention, oftentimes that then becomes the choice on a subconscious level. No one consciously says they want more pain and suffering to come into their lives, but it happens, and it happens frequently there on Earth. And even though it always serves a purpose, you can ascend just as quickly and easily by following your joy. You can pay closer attention to what is going on inside of you and in your lives, and you can move more appropriately to the higher realms by continuously choosing love. This is the way for all of you, no matter what the circumstances are that you are facing. Ask yourself the question of, can I be love in the face of this? And if you truly feel that you cannot, then ask yourselves the question of, Why? Perhaps you will need to move through some negative emotions before you get to the place of love within you, the love that is always there, always available to you. And that is okay. You are meant to feel everything that there is to feel on earth. Therefore, as long as you know that the ultimate goal is to get to that place of love within you, go right ahead and let your anger be. Let whatever negative emotion comes up for you be exactly what it is. You don't have to change it. You don't have to transmute it. You are transmuting yourselves. And one of the ways you do that is through accepting everything as it is and being love in the face of everything as it is. These are powerful words, aren't they? Just because you feel some anger, some sadness, some fear, or even some hate, doesn't mean that you are devolving. It doesn't mean that you are going in the wrong direction or becoming any of those things. It just means you are having a temporary experience of yourself as something other than love. And you knew you would before you incarnated on earth. You knew everything would be on the table for you to feel, and that it would serve you to feel everything that the earth experience has to offer. Therefore, you may need to remind yourselves from time to time that no matter what comes up in your lives, the ultimate goal is to always be love. And if you can make peace with the fact that the path to getting there often does have a lot of unwanted, not so good feeling emotions to it, then you will get there more quickly. Now, many of you wonder what your purpose is there on earth. You want a mission for your lives. Get to that place where you are feeling love in the face of everything that is coming up for you, and you will be in service to others. Others need to see an example so that they have something to follow. They need for those of you who are light workers to pave the way. You were there as awakened souls because you wanted to do it first and then show others. Many of you who are awake are also teachers and leaders. You are guides. And when you light the path that you are on with love, everyone else, no matter where they are right now, can and will eventually follow. We are the Arcturian Council. So I thought that was quite profound. Now, Karen's put up a chart in the chats. Karen, would you like to explain a little bit about that, please?
Andy, can I screen share on this?
I don't know.
No, I
No, it's
can't.
been disabled.
Okay. Well, maybe if we just click on the chat and we can all look at it.
I can bring it up if you like somehow. I'll just have to change settings.
Thank you, Andy.
Where are we? Carry on talking while I set it up.
Sure.
Don't ask me where I found this chart because I've had it for years. But it's called Levels of Consciousness chart, and it kind of fits in with what we are saying, and I think it fits in with the law of one material as well, although there's that density and dimension kind of thing, but it all kind of is the same thing at the end of the day, isn't it? Just different aspects of looking at it. and it goes right down from a base level of consciousness, which is in your lower sort of third dimension, starting at death, which is pretty horrible, going up through shame, guilt, apathy, grief, and it keeps going right up. So through all the third dimensional levels. And then when we get into the fourth dimension, it's talking about things like neutrality, willingness, acceptance, inner light, reason, inner wisdom, and inner love. Then your fifth dimension, it's talking about oneness or joy, your presence and peace, and the I am presence, and it keeps going up right up to the 12th density. Now, each level of consciousness also has a frequency attached to it, which I thought Andy might like, because I'm pretty sure it's based in hertz. It's also, I'll just need to make my screen a bit bigger. It also has an associated, can't quite read it, I think it's rational state. So whether it's in those lower densities, it could be hate, craving, anxiety, or in your upper ones, it could be reverence, serenity, and bliss. It also has a view of life. So these are all different columns. A really good one is it has a key, a column for the key to transcending to the next level. So with whatever level where you think you are at the time, it's like what you can focus on to help move up to the next level. It also includes what we experience. So within each sort of dimension, what you can experience in it. So the lower sort of third dimensional sort of hyperactivity stuff, I guess that's to do with us living in fear and control, things like that. In the fourth dimension, it goes into happiness and productivity, sort of where we're at now, maybe. Fifth dimension, it moves into synchronicity and extraordinary outcomes, which sounds quite cool. It also talks about the states of consciousness at each level and something that's called location. So basically, the lower third dimension is basically saying the location that we're living in is hell. I don't know if I agree with that, but that's what it says. Then moving into purgatory. Fourth dimension's in between. Fifth dimension, we go into paradise, and above that, the other dimensions is heaven. But I suppose that's if you choose to have a location on it. So it's just, it's up on the screen now, great, so everyone can see it. It's just an interesting way to look at it. But with the different talks that we've been having with frequency and talking about what sort of music to listen to for your frequency, it shows that the frequency of the music we should be listening to is right up in the sort of upper fourth dimension frequency. So that's really good. Yeah, I just thought it was something a bit interesting there. Sometimes it's nice to just try to see something in a visual form.
That's beautiful, Karen. Thank you very, very much.
All good.
That's fantastic. I've actually seen that chart before, but that's lovely that you bring that up. In a way, we are in what some of the yogis call the hell worlds. They're very difficult worlds where we are, because it's, worlds of heavy learning to move through, to understand every aspect of everything. How great can we know lovers unless we know the opposite? So they're really huge learning curves. I think anyone that decides to come here anyway, apart from these times, is very, very brave, or they've got pushed into it because they have to fulfill their karmic duty. They can be very difficult worlds, but I think there's also the fact that they weren't meant to be this way. This was meant to be a paradise, and it will be again, in my understanding. So we are birthing a new way, a new world. And I think it's going to be absolutely amazing. You imagine, if we've just even got 1/10 more the capacity of our brain than we do now. Can you imagine, with beautiful food that is so nutritious, with forests that are allowed to grow, with clean air, with seas and waters that are pure, with people living in harmony, with beautiful architecture, to fill the world with beauty and innocence and love. That's what we're moving into, and I think it's just incredible. I have a small part of a poem that I'm sure you will know well. If you've heard of William Blake, a very well-known poet. And I'm only going to read the first 4 lines. It's called Auguries of Innocence. To see a world in a grain of sand, and heaven in a wild flower. Hold infinity in the palm of your hand, and eternity in an hour. How profound is that? Where's this man been? You know, to see the world in a grain of sand, and heaven in a wildflower. Hold infinity in the palm of your hand, and eternity in an hour. Blows you away, blows me away anyway. Does anyone else got anything they'd like to say before we close? Any questions from the floor? Any statements? Karen?
Sorry, I'm hogging it a bit tonight.
No, you're doing an amazing job. I'm very proud of you.
I've actually got a question for other people.
Yeah.
Whether they have had any experiences in the 5D realms or glitches, sometimes, you know, glitches in the matrix, so to speak. I've had times, I don't know that it's not really a glitch, but times where I'm feeling not entirely in my body, almost like you're slightly above or behind, or I don't know. Sometimes it's like you're doing something mundane, housework, cooking dinner, whatever it might be, but you're not entirely there. Your body's doing what it needs to do. You can still function, but you feel like you're not entirely there. You're kind of almost watching a little bit, or slightly behind you or above or something. I don't quite know. It's kind of interesting. Luckily, I haven't had a car crash or anything yet like that. Don't jinx that. There was one time I saw 3 really weird things. I did put this up on Facebook a wee while back. It was only about a month ago. 2 of them are probably can be explained away, but the last one is quite weird. But there was 3 things on one drive home in a day. The first one was, it was a month ago. It was a very, very hot day here in Christchurch, and I saw a couple walking down the street wearing puffer jackets, hats, gloves, and masks. Thought that was weird, but I'll just let that one go. You know, different strokes, different folks. Then I saw a lady, Asian lady, walking backwards down the street. Now, I know sometimes they do that, but this lady was dressed up as if she was going shopping, a shopping bag in her hand and everything. That was really weird. But the third thing was very strange. Just same road, down a little bit further. There was a contractor painting a fence, but he was stopped, like the pause button was hit. He had the brush in his hand. He was not on his phone. That's what I would have thought. And he was like, his paused. He was just there. And I went and stopped at a set of lights. And he just stayed there for ages. That was weird. It was like somebody pushed a pause button. So, yeah, my question is, has anyone else had strange experiences with this?
Very good questions. Anyone like to participate with what Karen's been talking about? Lee?
Yeah, I've had some pretty crazy experiences with that. And in one situation, everything changed. So I was actually experiencing 2 different worlds at the same time. So there was an overlay of another reality, which was light and very colourful, but it was very confusing because it was almost solid. So it you know, the doorways weren't in the right place. I was walking around banging into things because I was going through the door, but it was another door. Yeah, so there was a whole different reality overlaid, which was pretty interesting, and that lasted for a couple of days that it went on. So yeah, a few other
Fascinating.
experiences where the body changed, and I lost all awareness of where I was. I didn't realize, that I was on Earth. Had no idea that this was Earth, and where I was going. I was driving at the time, but I felt this body actually felt like it was metal. It was so dense. Yeah, very interesting experiences.
I'm glad you arrived safely, Lee, especially when you're driving. Wow. They certainly are. It's like we're between worlds in a way. We've got one foot in each to a degree. I've certainly had vision where I've seen two of the same thing out of sync. So I've seen two fences where one is superimposed on the other, but they're slightly out of alignment. And I heard of a lady who was I think it was Barbara Ann Brennan, actually, from the School of Healing. She used to see at times three different curbs. So she'd get out of her car and she'd have to navigate which curb was in the third dimensional reality, just like you with your doors, Lee. Where to put her feet, what height, whereabouts, because she could see three different realities, which would be extremely confusing. And I do remember taking a photo when I was in Egypt. It was in one of the temples, but the roof was not there, so it almost appeared outside, but there were pillars around. And there was one gentleman walking past. He was a tourist. And when the photo was developed, his head was ahead of his body. There was a glitch in the matrix, and his head was there and his body was here. And it wasn't a photo fault, because all the background was as it should be. And I thought, that's strange. That was definitely a glitch in the matrix. Found that quite interesting. But I think too, maybe hearing different sounds, hearing buzzing in the ears louder than maybe before. I've had quite a bit of that going on. Feeling energies running in my body more, like recalibrations. Yeah, I've had a lot of different things going on, particularly from spirit, I think, adjusting my physical body as well. So has anyone else got anything they'd like to share on that? Evelyn, can you thank you.
Can I just ask, you mentioned earlier that you feel a jolt in your body. Do you physically feel a jolt?
My body is jolted physically at times by what I call my dream team.
Right.
Who jolt my body when it's an affirmation of truth.
Right. Okay.
And it only ever used to happen when I was doing energy work with other people. But now it seems to be happening in the oddest of places by those that can accept it.
Yeah, I'm finding a very similar thing is actually happening to me.
Fabulous.
Yeah, well, it's been happening for some time now, and I don't do a lot of these Zoom things because I find my body just starts jumping. It starts jumping around, and my left hand keeps coming up as well. It's really strange. It's as if I'm saluting to someone. I can't stop it. I'm trying to keep it under control, but I found I was doing it earlier when you were talking. I found myself jolting around. Sorry, I just had to throw that in there.
This is interesting, and this is the beauty of these chats.
Yeah.
Because we never know what's going to come up. For me personally, years ago, I said to my team, I will only work with the highest and the best, nothing less, because I also work with energy. And I've worked as a therapist for a long time, although not so much now, but I have done. And so that was the caveat, that I wouldn't allow anything of a lower vibration to come through me or near me in my field. And if you have done something similar, all I can say is it would be your team acknowledging if that's how you feel it is for you.
Mm.
What do you feel is happening when that happens for you? What do you think that's about?
I feel it when I'm meditating, when I'm listening to hertz music, when I talk to people of a spiritual nature, if I'm reading something spiritual, then it's as if my whole body is relaxing and some sort of energy is just making me, mostly my shoulders jump and my left hand going up.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Do you do energy work, Evelyn?
No, I wouldn't know where to start, to be honest. No, this has been happening for about a year now, the jolting. Quite disconcerting when it first happens to you.
I don't know what your path is. You may consider looking at energy work because it seems like it's coming through. Or it could just be an affirmation of what you're getting in the moment. I don't know. This is what happens for me when I get jolted. For me, it's an affirmation. It may be something completely different for you. I have no idea, but they're just thoughts to think about.
Because I know sometimes I can jolt myself awake with it as well. And I actually make a throating noise. And I have actually, it's really funny, twice I've actually started giggling, and it's not me giggling, whatever it is, there's giggling going on. There's a lot of giggling. Just that's happened. Anyone else got any of this going on? Have you? I just
I don't jolt like Mum jolts, but when I'm doing energy work, whether it be healing or whether it be planetary or like grid work and stuff, my hands move. I'm doing lots of weird stuff. Energy is moving, flowing, and I'm not doing it. It just happens.
I'm not doing it either. It just woof, up it goes.
Can I suggest that when you are in a quiet space, to say to your team, this is my proposal to you, that you say, I wish to work with nothing but the highest and the best. Okay. Everything else must leave now. Just in case there are some cheeky monkeys trying to affect you.
Yeah, I'm protected by the full body armor of God whenever it happens, because I'm really not sure what is going on, but there is obviously something going on.
Yeah.
Interesting
to find out more.
Yeah, I don't know who to ask, to be honest, because it's very much a personal thing.
Just ask your team and spirit.
Yeah. Okay.
Everyone has their guardian angel, and everyone has a team. They cannot help you unless you ask for it. They need to be asked.
Yeah. Oh, I do ask. I thought you meant like I don't know, like someone that's involved in energy healing or something. But I do talk to my team. But
brilliant.
Yeah, it's
brilliant.
Yeah, it's different. It's different, especially giggles. That's a bit of a funny one.
It's very interesting, isn't it? Thank you for sharing that, Evelyn.
Well, thank you. I just needed to ask someone about it. That was all.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Is anyone else? Sorry, Andy?
You mentioned briefly before about doing work on yourself, overcoming obstacles and things like that. I've got this thing coming up soon. It's a counselling thing, and I looked up her website, and it's absolutely fascinating. And she does things on like monumental big things. And I thought, well, I haven't actually got anything that big. But come to think about it, yeah, I have. And it come to me, and I thought, whoa, just like ears went off, ringing. You need to deal with this. It's been like far out. quite a while. And my question was, once you work through that process of something that's happened in your life, which is different, that will then free you up even more so on the path of ascension. Is that correct?
Absolutely. As I understand it, absolutely.
So that would let more energy flow and things like that.
Yeah, I
I
think
can't
when
explain. I can't give any more because it's been recorded. But one day we'll talk.
that's quite all right. When, in my understanding, when you work on your shadow self and the things that don't serve you, when you allow them to dissipate, and it's often through the inner work, it holds space for more energy to come in because the universe doesn't like a vacuum. And so it holds more space energetically for the God force to come through. So absolutely, when we work on our inner selves and with the shadow self, which is a very important thing to be doing, because we are both dark and light within our being, and it's amalgamating the two, but it's removing anything that's holding us back, that's like an anchor that we can't move forward from.
Precisely.
Yeah, so yes, Andy, absolutely will free you up more to be more who you truly are. Lee,
And
have
it's,
you got anything you'd like to add to that?
Yeah, definitely. You know, the issues that come up are coming up for you to clear them. I, however, see them as gifts, you know, because they are things that are making us stronger, more enlightened, more clearer, more connected to source, more balanced, you know. So every little thing that comes up to be worked on is a blessing. Sorry, my phone, if you can hear that.
it was the
So
synchronicity in which it all came about too. I mean, I had counselling years ago when Mum was going through her final days, and recently, not that I think anything's adversely affected me. I'm still sort of chugging along, but I just felt the need to. I thought I want to find a good counsellor, and not a normal counsellor. I want a spiritual counsellor that operates on 3D, 5D, the whole lot. And the new medical centre we've joined is the nurse is just amazing. And I said to her, I said, I don't want a normal counsellor that's textbook bullshit that says, oh, you know, well, let me tell you, how, you know, I understand you, how you could feel, this sort of nonsense. I said, I want someone who can read energy and stuff like that. Bang, she got it straight away. She said, I know just the person. So this lady does healing, intuition, life coaching, and a thing called systemic constellations. And that's what I looked up online. I thought, whoa. And that's when I thought, far out. Yeah, I do have something that needs to be worked through. It was mind-blowing how it all come together, and I think I start a couple of weeks. I think she's on holiday at the moment, but I'm really looking forward to it, even though I know it's going to be interesting. It'll be all right. I'm looking forward to releasing it because it's not on my mind every day, but when, you know, it has affected various pathways and things, and it's about time it needs to be dismissed or worked through with light and released.
Brilliant. And because you put the thought up for that to happen, Andy, it's halfway happened already.
But it wasn't a conscious thing. It was just the spiritual side of it. I just felt led to something. And the first name that the nurse put on the list was this lady that I'm going to go and see. And I just looked at the card. I thought, whoa, absolutely. And she said, how do you know? I said, oh, intuition. She said, well, that doesn't happen very often. I said, yeah, well, I'm not normal.
Yeah.
She got it though, because she's had sessions with her too, and she reckons she's just amazing. So I'm really looking forward to getting to working with someone who gets it, the bigger picture, and she's, you know, if she can read energy and intuitive and life coaching and stuff, like, wow, this is perfect. Thank you very much.
Lee, were you going to say something?
I was, but I won't go
Okay.
there. You kind of went there, but I do have something else to say. Another thing that I definitely recommend is QHHT, because utilizing that, you get to experience, it's experiential for you. So you get to see it from your own eyes, things that have happened. QHHT will take you only to points in your incarnations that have significance for you in this moment, for you to clear, for you to look at, for you to understand. And so you're seeing it from the personal perspective, and it just has a completely different resonance about it and understanding. You completely see and understand why you experienced that, why it was necessary, and you can quite easily release those issues through that process. So yeah, I definitely recommend something like QHHT if you can find someone. They are pretty much everywhere.
What's that in a nutshell?
Quantum,
Healing, hypnosis, therapy.
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, because this is something that I just think, how the heck can I consciously get through this? I mean, obviously you're going to be drawing on spiritual energy to work through that process, but yeah, the hypnosis thing, I often wondered about that. I
Yeah.
think, far out. You want someone
And
that can actually get in there and go,
what they normally do with QHHT is, so they'll take you through a process of going into other lifetimes that are important to you right now, but then they'll also connect you to your higher self, and your higher self will speak. And so before you go for the session, you might have specific things you want to know about, and then the practitioner or the therapist will put those questions to your higher self. So you're aware of your higher self talking, but you're also aware of observing this process going on. It's pretty enlightening experience.
wow. I have a sneaky feel. It wouldn't surprise me if this lady does that as well, because that when I looked up the systemic constellations, that was just something I'd never even contemplated. It was mind blowing. I thought this is going to be good.
Yep.
All the best with that, Andy. That's fantastic. Evelyn.
I was just going to say what Lee was talking about there. I actually done a soul regression session last year, which took me back to a previous life. And what Lee was saying, how things in this life actually happened in a previous life are affecting me now. I've had cancer 3 times in the throat, and I've constantly got problems with my throat. Even tonight, after talking tonight, I'll have a sore throat for X amount of hours. But what transpired out from the soul regression session was, in a previous life, going back several hundred years, I apparently was a healing witch, and I was hung by the neck. And this apparently is what's fed through into this lifetime, was the fact that this is why I've still got throat problems and neck problems. I'm attending a chiropractor as well for problems with my neck. My neck's it's got a double curve in it. It's got a double curvature, and it's all stemmed from a previous life, which came out of the soul regression session, similar to possibly what you might be going into, Andy. So I thought I would just mention that, just as a...
Thank you so much.
Yes, but clearing out past traumas, that was me clearing out a past trauma. This is where it's all been stemming from. Sorry.
It's really interesting you say that, Evelyn. I've had stuff with the throat as well, and have breathing issues in this lifetime. I went with a friend of mine in the 90s to see a movie called Hocus Pocus. I don't know if any of you saw it. It's about 3 witches that were buried. They were concreted in because if they were released, they caused havoc. And this is what happened. These young teenagers got hold of a book of shadows, a grimoire, and released these witches. the first and opening act was 3 witches being hung by the neck. And that was probably the first time I'd had a jolt, Evelyn. And the energy went through my body energetically.
Yep.
And my thoughts were, I have been that. When that movie finished, and I said to my friend, what did you think of the opening act? Did anything happen for you? She said, yes. She said, I had all this energy go through my body. I said, you and I have both been in that situation. Fascinating. And so for me, a lot of my lives has been around either not being able to speak or drowned or whatever. It's all about the neck and the throat. And look at me now, I'm finally speaking. But isn't it interesting?
Yeah.
It's so interesting.
I was fascinated when she actually, I actually told myself that. She just recorded it all. I've got it all recorded. But just the throat issue just seems to have come through the ages, and it's still here. The neck issue is still here. Everything is still there. I've still got all of these problems. But then the jolting started then as well. It's as if my team of guides had just went, all right, we'll just go in and hit her with everything in one go. But yeah, it was really, I had no idea what my past life was. I haven't been back for the second stage yet. Just so many changes, so many things going on. I'm learning so much, actually, to be honest.
Brilliant.
Evelyn, you might be in for some spiritual chiropractic work with your arm going, might fix your neck.
With any luck, I wish it would, Andy.
Well, you never know.
You never know. No, this is true.
There's an old saying that says knowledge is power, and that's very, very true. When we can know more than what we do in this present reality, we are more armed with truth and understanding. And I think to be gentle with ourselves is also one of the biggest things we can do, because we've all probably been through horrific deaths and all sorts of scary scenarios that we wouldn't wish to be in, but we've been that in some of our lives, maybe even have perpetrated that in some of our lives.
Yeah.
We've been all things to all people, but we've come back in this life with a mission to change the world. So be it.
Yeah.
So any final thoughts before we close, Lee?
Yeah, and affirmations and putting out statements and questions can be helpful too. You know, claiming anything from a past life that I don't need to carry in this life, I release. If I need to be aware of something related to that, bring it up. I'm ready for it. You know, and that can be those physical issues that we bring through. Often the physical issues are related to trauma at death, you know, a huge emotional aspect to it. So, and they may not necessarily be because you need to deal with anything from this lifetime. It's come through. So using those statements and those commands, you know, anything from a past life that don't belong to this incarnation, I completely release and let go of now. Send them back to where they came from, where they belong, the timeline that they belong in, whatever you want to say to affirm that and move on from it. Or let me see what the lesson is. What do I need to learn from that so that I can move on from it? They can be quite powerful.
Beautifully said, Lee. Beautifully said, and very, very true. I just want to thank everyone for an amazing collaborative Cosmic Cuppa. Thank you for all of your sharing. I hope you've had some of your cuppa this evening, and we've certainly had a good cosmic sip. Well done, guys. So, YouTubers, please like, share, and subscribe. And remember this, guys, peace on earth. It starts with you. It starts with me. So good night and God bless.